So my favorite talk was the Wesleyan experience. It was interesting just seeing how different people are, like, seeing the different aspects of everyone's experience here. Um, I like hearing the good things and what Kansas Wesleyan can improve. So I thought that would help us more, and especially if we got a lot more people here to share their experience, that would help as well. But that was my favorite.
Right.
Did you want to kind of elaborate on that a little more? Like, give us, because I definitely wanted to talk about the Wesley experience. That actually was like one of my favorites too, the Wesley experience, because it definitely shared like all our own personal experiences. We were able to open up to each other. I feel like those who don't normally come to talks were able to come to talks. We're able to experience talk at its true peak and kind of become closer as a student base. We all kind of came closer to one another, able to talk in front of another about our own experiences and whatnot that made us feel uncomfortable, and using that to allow us to kind of better understand each other and get closer with one another, I think definitely made us a stronger student-based campus.
Yeah, I definitely liked it too. I feel like it was very interesting hearing the different stories, from each student. It was definitely a bigger turnout. We had a lot of new faces and stuff, share their experience, like first coming here, like being on campus, all their experiences, with faculties, other students, athletics, everything. And so I feel like that it was very important to have that topic and really get that discussion out so we can hear different aspects of it. There was different stories. One story that I liked is how we had one person talk about her experience and how she had to get used to people staring at her at the local grocery market and stuff. And how she felt like that look kind of like gave her like a very derogatory like feel and stuff. And it's like hearing that experience, I never really heard it before. Well, I heard those experiences, but it's nice to have somebody being like vulnerable and being open about it and sharing that. And so I felt like that with that talk, it was definitely a fun one as a big learning experience for all of us, hearing different stories from fellow students and truly understanding like, okay, there's different, everybody has a different lifestyle, everybody got a different lifestyle. Ooh, my bad. Everybody got a different lifestyle. Everybody has different experience. And it's always good to learn from these experiences so you have more perspectives and more views to look at. So now we'll go to the boy on my left, Jalen, and he chose his favorite one.
Yeah, this talk, this was actually one of the first talk specials I remember when it was Dr. Booker, and the reason why it was actually one of my favorite talks or most memorable talks is just because it kind of showed me the differences between someone who's grown up in an inner city and someone who's grown up in a kind of different area, complete different area, and it just shows me the different ideologies and whatnot. It allowed me to kind of think critically, which is incredibly important, especially in a university setting. I think it's important to kind of take on someone else's different ways of thinking and whatnot, and kind of use that to understand why they think that way, why they behave that way, and truly just, take yourself out of your own comfortability just to understand them for who they are. Dr. Booker is an incredible man. He's a great guy on campus and whatnot. We were, when speaking with him and when DeAndre had his talk, I definitely thought to myself like, some of the things, or majority of the things, I didn't want to agree with, and but I kind of had to think critically and use my intelligence to kind of understand. So it definitely challenged me in a way to have me challenge myself and force myself to grow out of a more so simple mindset and whatnot. What do you think about that? DeAndre?
So I definitely like this one. I felt like that because this is the part 2 of our BGIA series, and I felt like that I wanted to. I knew Dr. Booker. I knew what his background was, so I was like, well, this is the perfect time to have this discussion and truly get this perspective and stuff. And one thing that I learned is that during that interview, I heard, 2 different, sides of stories. I heard the officer side and then the man side, separating the man from his job. And truly hearing it kind of gave me a perspective of what they, what an officer thinks, during those heated moments and stuff. And I felt like that was basically happening when, you still had those recent shootings of, unarmed civilians. So I felt like that having that, first talk special, I was like, I really want to get this interview with him because I truly want to pick his brain and listen and hear what he wanted to say. But I also want people in the audience, if they want to ask questions and truly pick his brain as well and try to figure out what goes to the mind during these events, during these scenarios and stuff. What they're thinking during this time and stuff. I want to truly get the most from that interview for us to truly grow and learn and stuff. And so I definitely do hold that one to my heart because it was very important during that time, and it still is. This is a topic to where I definitely want to keep on, bringing this up because it's never going to change. Some of these topics we probably won't talk about it again, but this one's will be relevant, for a long time. I wish it wouldn't have to, but it will. So I definitely like our first talk special. The first one, you gotta love your baby. How you feel about this one, man?
I thought it was interesting just hearing Dr. Booker's insight to the law enforcement and sharing his experiences and sharing how the law enforcement brotherhood was. But it was nice to hear both perspectives from him. I mean, what you said basically.
Alright. And so now we'll go to my favorite talk, and that is the Black Lives Matter talk. And the reason why I chose this one is because Black Lives Matter kind of played a factor into talk being a thing. I remember being at my house and wanting to figure a way how to contribute and truly help everybody in the area that I was going to in Salina grow and truly be proactive. And so I got tired of being a keyboard activist. I actually wanted to do something. I wanted to be a part, and instead of being reactive to situations, I want to be proactive. And so the Black Lives Matter movement inspired me to truly make this whole talk. During this talk, it was the reason why I loved it because you hear everybody was able to talk about it, and you heard the passion behind everybody's voice talking about Black Lives Matter. And one thing that we can always let's be real with ourselves, there are people who truly do not like this phrase or truly understand it, what they do, but they really, they don't want to accept it. So I feel like that having this here, this topic, having that talk was incredible. I'll always love it. And it just matters so much to me because it's a real thing. There's no other way around it. Black lives do matter. It's not saying that only Black lives matter. It's just that we matter too. And so, how do you feel during that talk?
This talk was very specific to why talk was created, as DeAndre was talking about. So I think this talk kind of paved the way for each and every different talk episode went. So with the Dr. Booker special, with Wesleyan experience, with presidential election, all these other talks kind of grew off of the Black Lives Matter talk. I think this talk was probably the most important talk, being the fact that when we had this talk, or what was going around during this time was very significant to history in America, history for Black people, history for white people, history for just about anyone who was involved, which is pretty much everyone. So I think this talk, me personally, I really enjoyed this talk, just to listen and hear other people's perspective on how they feel about, just the regular slogan of Black Lives Matter. It was interesting. It definitely kept my attention. Um, it definitely allowed me to grow as not only a young black man but a young student. You know, expanding my knowledge on on um, what's the word? Expanding my knowledge on other people's perspective that aren't black. So like that allowed me to truly understand, again, critically think how someone would feel or what they would react to when they hear someone saying Black Lives Matter. So that's my personal take on it. But yeah.
So the future of talk.
Alright, so future of talk. The things that we do want to do, we definitely want to get better with. One big thing that we're working on is having a student faculty panel. And I've been having discussions, with members of the board, the trustees, and also faculty members. And I feel like that having a student faculty panel is very important. I remember Jalen talked about it, wanting to have a talk to where like we have a lot of faculty members here and we'll just have a main discussion. I want to do the student faculty panel because I want it to be a 2-day event to where we'll have a panel of faculty members, we can have them on the stage, we just have them in person, and we'll have students come up and ask questions or just give statements and comments about how they feel being a student here. And then the next day, we'll basically switch it to where faculty members can ask students, give their comments, give their concerns, or ask their questions as well. And I feel like that having that event will be very important, especially for Kansas Western University, because I feel like that the communication between students and faculty members isn't really there. It's instead of being like together, it's pretty distant and stuff. Not everybody feels comfortable talking to professors. Not everybody feels like their professors will understand them. So I want to have this event to where we can build that connection to be build it to be closer understanding. Because, being, a black man, I will say that with some of my professors, I don't have problems talking with them, but having a deep relationship, sometimes just like, it's strictly business. But I will say when we hired Dr. Cheeks and Dr. Smith, I will say that there are the faculty members that truly made me feel comfortable and made me truly, I love like talking to them. I really engage with them and stuff. And I feel like, the main reason why, because it's diversity. It's not really a diverse faculty group here, but maybe that's one thing that we can push to where we can have more, members that fit, the minority students and stuff. Because before those two came, the only like black professor that I knew, or like black faculty member that I knew was Dr. Booker, and I didn't talk to him that much. And so this whole event, most likely we're planning for a welcome back weekend, but most likely it'll be in January. And so we'll definitely be promoting that and wanting a lot of people to come because this is an event for us. We always talk about how professors here don't really care about us, the school don't really care about us, but what are we doing to get our voices heard and for them to listen to us? We can just be quiet all we want, but if you truly want change, you gotta say something. You gotta be able to be in the front and in the back making decisions and speak your mind and say, the change that you want. So that's one big thing that we're going to do. Another big thing is that Talk will be a part of the Black History Month program with the Multicultural Student Union. And so in February, each talk will basically be centered around Black History Month, where we'll have different topics and different discussions that will be going around. Now, it's not going to be, your basic discussions, the ones that we always have when it comes to, you've been in high school, the Black History Month, lessons that you had. We're going to kind of spice it up and do things different and stuff. We're going to talk about stuff in the past, but also that's happening right now. Another thing that kind of correlates with it, we'll do a MLK special as well. I feel like that will be something that's very important because most Culture Student Union would do an MLK event. So we'll correlate our talk with that. And also we want to do more special guest student hosts. I know Jalen was actually our first one, and now Jalen is a part of the group. But we want to do more special guest student hosts. So if you're ever interested in being a host for one of our talks, make sure you go to our Twitter page at Go Talk 2020. Or if you see us, just talk to any one of us, and we'll have a discussion to set up a time to where you can become a special guest host. And so, those are the main things. Oh, and also we'll be doing a podcast as well during our off season when we're not at school called Talk on Air. And so we'll drop more information on that on the Twitter page. But now we will turn it to y'all. Any feedback with how talk has been, or I should have done this earlier, if you want to share your favorite talks.
Sorry about easy. Ask them if they're
Not all at
Monday or
once.
Wednesday's better. Ask them for like Monday or Wednesday.
Oh, Monday, Wednesdays.
Okay, before that, give y'all time to think. Which day y'all think is better, Monday or Wednesdays?
Monday.
Monday.
Okay, raise your hand if Monday.
The majority of you guys are in here are football, so
Don't just count it off there.
everyone
We're gonna have a
here is
Twitter
football.
poll.
We're gonna have a Twitter
Y'all go
poll.
follow our Twitter. Vote on Twitter.
Yeah.
You said what,
You
Coach?
vote on Twitter.
I said it's up to you guys.
Thank you.
I'll do
Yeah, most likely
Yeah, Coach,
we'll
no
be
Wednesday
switching the day. So we'll put a Twitter poll either Monday or Wednesdays to where,
No Wednesday.
we'll have our new talk days because we're always experimenting, seeing which day is the best day and stuff. And we always want, students to be able to come to the show. There are some schedule conflicts. This is a wacky year for sports in general and stuff. And so we'll put a poll out. If you want to choose Mondays for the shows, if you want to choose Wednesdays, if you just want to recommend a crazy day, you can try that as well. But most likely Monday and Wednesdays are the days that we'll be aiming for 2021. But back to, asking y'all for your favorite talks. Since, a lot of y'all are either nervous to talk, even though it's only like
Just football in here, really.
just 7 people in here. Just go row by row, huh? We'll start with you, Murph. You want to share your favorite talk?
My favorite talk is not the one we did last week, because that was the election, right?
Yes.
The one before that. Was that Black Lives Matter?
Say that again.
The one we did before the election.
That was on. I believe that was on.
Oh, the N-word?
Oh, the N-word. That was my favorite.
Yeah. That one was pretty challenging for me.
Yeah. And a lot of people came to that one, so it was a lot more different. Like
It was a lot of new faces came
Yeah.
to that one.
Is there anything about
a lot of new faces came to the election one too. I like the election one too.
Yeah.
Is there anything about the N-word that you truly connected with?
I mean, a lot of the stuff that like people are saying, like a lot of stuff that we said that like I agreed with. Some stuff like it's just you just go as you grow, and like as you get older, you learn more stuff. So, and with the election one, it was just different on like hearing different perspectives. Like Jalen being from Cali, like I'm from Texas. The girl and the dude who was actually from Kansas and like different parts of Kansas. So it's good just to hear like a different perspective of like how like minorities all go through the same stuff, but it's just different ways in different places.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty important to recognize. Just because if it's one thing that I've learned, it's to kind of explore and not kind of stay in the same place. Whether that be in your hometown, whether that be in your own mindset. You change is good. So definitely challenge yourself to learn more about something else that rather than what you're comfortable with. Sorry, I had to put my 2 cents in.
You good.
All right, we'll go to the next person.
Oh.
Hey.
We drowning in here.
I had a Trump supporter one.
Oh, that was a good one.
I think it was pretty obvious. But it was pretty obvious that all the people that came pretty much had a similar perspective of what they thought about the Trump supporters. There was a couple of views that, that opened my eyes a little bit, but overall, I feel like it was a great talk to have because the election was up and coming, and, with a town or a state specifically that's so catered to, that community, it was just a great talk to have.
Coach Taylor, you got to talk about your favorite talk?
Yeah, my favorite was when you had Dr. Booker here. I felt like that was really engaging because you could bring somebody in that had, real work experience in the field, but also was faculty here. So you kind of tied everything together with that one, and that was real knowledge, real conversations, real insight. And I thought that was really impactful. It's just a lot of things for even me to think about, after hearing that side of it. But I thought that was a really great way that you brought together the campus side of things, a professor that also brought in a police perspective to the conversation. So I really liked that one.
Annie?
Yeah, mine was probably the Edward one because said some real stuff about it, and gave insight about the word, the definition, and all that. And let some people see that it's people say. And
Okay.
All right, what you do?
Oh,
It's okay if you don't if you heard like other ones, but maybe you haven't been here because I know you've been kind of busy.
Yeah, well, I can't say the last one, but I like the last one.
The last one, the presidential election,
Yeah, I like that.
that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was good because y'all actually had like people talking y'all feedback and different racisms in there.
Mm-hmm.
So those were cool. And they actually talk. So
Cool it.
Coolish?
I forget what the initial topic was, but it was the one where we had everybody share like their experience around like,
Wesleyan experience.
yeah,
that was
around
my popular
campus,
favorite.
That was one of my favorites for sure.
No, really?
I like the Wesleyan experience one too.
No, I like. Thank you for that, man.
That's awesome.
Alright, so is there any improvements, anything new that y'all want to see Talk to do? This is honest hours right now. We're taking everything that we can. We want to make sure that this is that this continues to improve and get stronger and just keep the train rolling.
I don't think like it's anything y'all need to improve on, but I would say like sometimes like don't try to like have everything planned out to like, oh, we're gonna talk about this or we're gonna talk about this, because sometimes the best conversations come from off one topic and then it branches off. Like sometimes I feel like y'all try to keep it on the one topic. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, yeah, I
Yeah.
get you, yeah.
But like sometimes like you can branch onto the conversation that you never thought like we would have.
Of course.
So I would just say that. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah. What would be your best advice to get more people to show up?
Yeah, that's all.
We just gotta. I mean, I know like they talk about talk, like get it out there, but I'm pretty sure like, I mean, people like know who like DeAndre is, but they don't like know DeAndre. Like they just know he a big dude that play football, that run talk. Like if DeAndre was to like, actually like, I know like you make flyers and stuff. Like, do you hand them out yourself or do like other people do it?
I usually like hand them out and stuff.
Yeah, like, so like if like a lot of us like just us in the room, like we could just hand them out, and I'm pretty like kind of how we did the talent show, like we start like actually like giving them to everybody, like making sure everybody got one, and even if they had one, we gave them another one. Like making sure like they knew Talk was there, or making sure they knew the talent show was there. Like I'm pretty sure we do the same thing with Talk. People come because you see like people will come, like because numbers like fluctuate every week. It go up and down. So there's some people come some week, they don't come the next. Some people come all the time. Some people don't come and then they come and then it's like, oh, I like this. And what's the next one? So it's really just like getting your name out there because nobody reads like the emails really. So honestly, like just not even like recruiting, but like just getting your name out because everybody. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of something, heard about Talk like at least once, even if they didn't like actually listen to what was going on. They've heard about it. But I'm pretty sure like if you hand flyers out and stuff like that to where people know like Talk was on Monday at 6 in Fitzpatrick and they know it like it's drilled in their head like the same way we did the talent show, like drilling it into people's head, drilling people like, okay, it's this time this day, and we told them every single day till they got tired of hearing it so they went. So I would just say like just making sure like everybody know and not like in the email. And I know Coach Hen do all he can with like sending the messages out in the football group chat telling people that we have it. But like there's other people than just football on the school.
Okay. So one thing we're still working on is doing a Dropbox. Have y'all seen the prayer box in the sack?
Yeah.
And so what we're thinking is making a talk box. And we'll basically switch it each and every day. We'll probably have, suggestions for topics, or we'll probably put a question or a statement, and we'll just allow students to anonymously write something down and engage with the box. Most likely we'll put topics like, what topics would you like to talk about? Or, we'll probably put a statement on there and just want engagement with it. So you think having a talk box would be a great idea?
Yeah, I think that's interesting, especially like if we actually use the topics that people are putting in, like if people put them in, then I'm pretty sure people show up because it's like, hey, they're actually like listening to my ideas, they're actually like talking about like stuff I want to talk about, stuff I want to hear other people's perspective of.
Anybody else want to give us feedback about the shows and stuff?
Awesome.
Well,
It's perfect.
like I said, this is the last one of 2020. We will be, making a podcast, so make sure that you're following the Twitter because we'll give more information out about the podcast. And also, last week's episode was recorded, so most likely after all the editing is done, we'll be making a YouTube channel and uploading the first episode. So if you want to be able to watch it and relive the talk, we'll let y'all know on the Twitter. Like I said, most of our interactions will be on there. Want to help us out, get the word out, spread it to everybody that you can and stuff. And the year 2021 is going to be very interesting. We want to start off big, keep the train rolling and stuff, pick up momentum, and do a lot of new things. And besides that, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks everybody for showing up. We got finals coming up, so I hope everybody's doing good. Like pass our classes, and get to enjoy the big break. We got a good 2 months off.